U.S. This is the Freedom Message with Steven Vincent. The next 55 minutes, yours in liberty in support of Ron Paul for President of the United States.
Hi, this is Steven Vincent reporting live from Hahn Plaza at the foot of the Tommy Trojan statue at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day, and Ron Paul, presidential candidate, is here visiting us in the Southland. And we've got a crowd of Ron Paulers here waiting hours ahead of time for the man. Very happy to have him here. Let's hear it for Ron Paul! Call? Who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call? All right. So we're getting a little warmed up here. It's a really beautiful day, and there's a lot of excitement in the air. People are coming from all around Southern California, as far away as Phoenix, Arizona, for this exciting event. And I'm very pleased to be with you. My name is Steven Vincent, the host of the Freedom Message on bbsradio.com. We're about 20 minutes away from a major media press conference with Ron Paul here at USC. Fox News will be there interviewing and asking questions of Ron Paul. I will be asking a few key questions of Ron Paul. I've pretty much decided, narrowed it down. I'm going to ask Ron Paul, given the opportunity, and there may not be the opportunity, but given the opportunity, I am going to ask about Fred Thompson's new slogan for his campaign. Hi, we're back. Steven Vincent, live at the Hahn Plaza at the base of the Tommy Trojan statue. We're going to walk over right now to the press conference and participate and broadcast for you the press conference with Ron Paul and major media. I know Fox News will be there, so we're going to go ahead and walk over now. All right, guys, let's motor. So who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? Ron Paul. Revolution. Ron Paul. Revolution. Ron Paul. Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Who's going to save the Constitution? Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Revolution! 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 Ron Paul! Ron Paul! Revolution! 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 All right, people. Beautiful. Revolution! All right. Are we going to take this country back? Yeah! All right. All right, so we're going to go into the press conference now. And since we're mobile here, there's some chance we're going to lose the connection and have to reconnect. We're walking wirelessly. And you know how it is with this kind of thing. Anything can happen. But we're going to try to stay connected with you. And we're walking down the stairs now. Ron Paul signs everywhere. Huge ones. Enormous Ron Paul signs.
And then they resort to even enhancing their material well-being by going to the government and getting special benefits. Angles, business people come, and people who don't want to work come, and everybody's manipulating the government, and they forget about freedom, because freedom creates the prosperity. And we're at the stage now where everybody's dependent on the government, so many people have not cared about freedom. That's what I sense is happening today. All of a sudden, people are not as confident about our material well-being, because the standard of living is going down, real wages are going down, there's a lot of inflation, and there's a housing bubble collapsing, there was a NASDAQ bubble collapse. Cost of education is skyrocketing, and the government tells us there's no inflation. So we see all those things, and people are becoming concerned, and they might have lost confidence in the government, which is good, because the government is just armed force. And if the government can't keep robbing one group to satisfy the other group, the people are waking up and saying, holy man, maybe we do need freedom. Maybe I need responsibility for myself. So when I offer the chance for young people like you to say, look, if you don't think that it's a good idea that you pay into Social Security for the next 60 years, what I'd like to do is give you a chance to get out and quit paying those taxes. And for the most part, young people say, sounds like a good idea. And yet, that is not nearly as radical as it sounds, because we have to take care of our elderly who have become so dependent, but we can do that by changing our foreign policy and quit spending this $1 trillion overseas. But individuals so often now are realizing that they can't trust the government. Yeah, we trusted the government. They'll take care of us if we have a hurricane. Just look how well they treated us in Katrina. They took care of us all. Katrina, just look at the results there and think about reading the history of 1900. I represent Galveston, Texas. It's the worst natural disaster in this country. So, I think it was 6,000 or more people were killed in that hurricane because there was no warning. And there was no FEMA, no Department of Homeland Security. And they came in, and the city rebuilt it and built the seawall, which is still standing today. But now, what we do is we get FEMA and Department of Homeland Security. They come in and take away the people's guns, and if your house is there, you're not allowed to go in. And then they look for the Air National Guard or the Army Guard, and it's over in Iraq, and nobody's there to take care of things. And then they go and buy trailers that never get delivered. And the few that people did end up getting delivered, they were contaminated, and people are being poisoned. And they take them out of the trailers, and they're moving them into hotels. And the process is still going on. Now they're trying to recover billions of dollars because they started passing out free money. If you were injured by the hurricane, you get $2,000. Can you imagine that the line got longer and people just lined up? They came from everywhere. And now they're going to try to recapture that money. People look at it and say, government doesn't work. I mean, but it's all based on this notion that it's the moral high ground. If we don't take care of them, you hate the people who are suffering. But people who are suffering have responsibility for themselves, and then there's a lot of charity in this community and in our culture, and people would have helped, and they have helped. They did a study on Katrina just recently, and the communities that have been rebuilt, they found out, and the news commentator rather surprisingly said, you know what? Every place that's been rebuilt, the spotty rebuilding, it's all been done by the individual. Mm-hmm. And where the government was supposed to come in and take care of it, it never happened. So I think it's just that confidence that we need, and I think that's what's coming back too.
I'm going to be a teacher. I'm getting my master's in education. So we've been studying the No Child Left Behind wonderful agenda that's existing in our education system today. And I'm wondering what you would like to do to get away with that, and what kind of an educational system you would like to implement that would be better than what we're dealing with right now with the standardized testing and the dropout rates.
I'd ask the Congress to repeal No Child Left Behind. And that constitutional principle is there's no authority for the federal government to be involved. There's a lot of money goes up there, and the educational system has not improved, but the costs are going up. There's only one city we have responsibility for in education. That's Washington, D.C. We're spending $13,000 a year per student. And, of course, we have more laws in D.C. regulating drugs and guns. We have the worst violence and more drugs and the worst educational system, and everybody wants just more money. So money is not the answer to our educational problem. What has happened to the teachers is they have been taken over by the bureaucracy, filling out forms, worrying about lawsuits, and just not releasing the teachers to be more creative and say, here's your 25 kids or 30 kids, and educate them. You know, and do it your way. And I'll bet we'd be much better off than following all these rules and regulations and putting this burden on teachers to fill out